if you've got an existing seat and you want to reupholster, then go ahead, take the plywood off, take the fabric or whatever it is, strip it off, get back to your plywood. I've had to make a new one here to go with my new chair. I've cut my leather 3 inches round all the way around, so I've got 3 inches spare all the way around the edge here. So this pulls up here, and I'll be eventually stretching this leather over there. Let me get rid of my cutting mat. I don't need that for this, but what I do need is a crisp, clean surface with no staples left in this on the surface, nothing to cut the surface of my leather. I've checked my leather on this side to make sure that it's got no flaws that I can't live with, no scratch marks, no brand marks if I don't want the brand in there. Brand marks usually do wear through quite quickly after you've upholstered something. So if you're in Texas and you've got the brand on there, you have to really want it. 3 inches, check that you're in position. And what we're going to do, we're going to be compressing the foam, and I've made a little helper. This thing here helps me greatly. Clamp in here, press down one side, lever down, put the clamp on this side, and then cinch it down. So this is just a piece of 1x pine. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Cut a scallop out. This distance from here to here is the width of my tabletop. So that sets that distance. I cut 2 pieces of the scraps from here, and I cut a U shape in here. This then takes my clamp in here, and when I compress this, I can cinch it down with that an extra inch or so. So how we get to this point, we center this on the table. We've got the 3-inch overhang. We've got the foam lined up with the edges perfectly, so there's no overhang of the plywood on one way or the foam on another, so we don't have any excess buildup. See how this, you just center this on here, pull up. So now I've got 3/4 or an inch overhang here, and I want this to pull onto this face and this to pull onto this face. Nice, neat and crisp. So the first thing, center this on your board, just eyeball it for center between the holes, and center this so that the end of this U here, it's going to be flush with here. This lines up with the edge of your board here, of your tabletop. This lines up. You can do this on a tabletop. You can do it really just about on anything. Set the clamp, the first clamp, like this. This one isn't going to go under the rim of the table yet. What I do is set it in here, lower this so that it goes under here, and then I apply pressure here. I've got my second clamp close to set here, so I can press down here, and I'm already compressing my foam. Put this one in here, get it underneath the rim. It's dead simple, but you have to do a little rehearsal with this. Then we cinch this down till we have that compression we want. So I've gone down till I've got about an inch on this side, which is really about the full depth. I need a little bit more on this side here. So go ahead. Now I've got a lot of pressure on this bar. Just cinch it down, Make sure the leather was flat when you put it on the tabletop. Now we pull this up here, and we can run our staple lines along the sides like this. So we just need the stapler. I've got a regular arrow stapler. I've got a sharp knife. I've got a hammer to set the staples a little bit deeper, and I'm ready to go. So watch what happens here. I'm going to try and work as best I can to you. So this now comes in here like this. Now because I've got nice straight edges, this should come out reasonably straight, but it's the underside of the seat. I just try to work as neatly as I can. Obviously I can't get under here, because even if I could, I couldn't get my hand in. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to pull as near as I can get to the center. I'm pulling this until it stretches no more, and then I take a staple and drop it in there like that. That holds perfectly well. Stretch and pull. So I'm pulling this staple up towards the center, but I'm also pulling it slightly in width, because if there's any stretch, I want the stretch to come towards this outer corner here. Now I can straighten up my hand a little bit and stretch again here. Keep stretching like this. Get your staples lined up. When you get near to the corner, can you see here? I want some kind of a mitre line to work to. So there is my mitre line. There is roughly, it's not an exact science this, it doesn't need to be. Just something that shows you where you want your leather to be cut. When I get to this point, I'm going to start pulling this towards this center here. So I pull and stretch here, and then I pop a staple in on this side of that mitre line there. Set these staples, and then consider these staples. You may want to take these two out, and after you've taken this off, you may want to straighten those staples out. That's going to be up to you. On this, I pull along this line. Can you see the line here? From the corner, just a straight cut like this. Here's what I call a cow's ear. Pull this up like this. So you've got this semicircle in here. Now we're going to go to the center on this one. Start at the center and work to either end. So again, there are two prongs on here, on every stapler as far as I've ever known. There's a prong here and a prong here. And you can actually use the stapler pressed onto the surface of the leather. So you do your pull, put your stapler on, and use the stapler to push and stretch the leather, that little extra bit. See how stretched this is? Work again about 1 inch away from that one. Try and line your staples up and work towards your mitre point here. See, this is coming nice and even. Stretch and stop there. Now we're going to work towards this outer edge here. So again, I'm working towards you this time. I'm avoiding getting right into the corner where the mitre is actually cut, so I'm staying about 1/2 inch away. I can set these. This is nice and even here. That's that bit. So on this mitre here, I can feel the mitre underneath. Pull this one. Doesn't matter if there's a gap. And pull this up here. That's why it looks like a cow's ear or a sow's ear. Now then, what we're going to do, we're going to make a mitre here. We want this to pull here, so we have this neat little pocket on this side. You can see how it bulbs up here. So I'm going to do a little bit of stretching here, like this. Bring my stapler in, like this on each side. Don't worry if it builds up. It's not going to stop this from seating. And that's now brought my corner. So now I have to do some tucking in this corner to neaten it. And if I need to, I'll take some more leather out if I need to. I don't think I'm going to need to. So this is a tuck here. And with my thumb, I make another tuck here, so I'm squeezing this together. Then I bring the corner up, but I want this corner to just have a single fold. Now I've got a little bit of shoulder leather here, and it's stretching a bit more than I really want it to. So I have to play with those corners a little bit. And if I need to, again, I'm going to go in with another staple here, like this, and pull another staple in here, just to get rid of some of the creasing. And there, see, I've got this nice neat corner. I like the way that's looking. Cinch everything, and then pull this in from the corner and make it equidistant on either side, and pull this as tightly as you can. And remember, when we take the clamps off, this is going to stretch the leather back again. So I'm pulling this side, I'm making a herringbone pattern here with the stapler. Neatness. Right in there. Last one is going to go right in here. That's probably enough. Well, 2 more will be enough. And then set everything. Every one of these corners will be a little bit different, so I can't imagine they come out the same because the leather is different. It's always different. There is nothing you can do about that. A bit off center there. So come up here now. I've got a little bit extra here, so I may take some of that out. So I'm going to come around this corner. This is my front edge. This is so important. So again, pull your leather. Now this is, I'm going to have to turn my table and come the same way because I have to keep pushing and pulling away from, or pushing away from me to get everything as cinched as tightly as I can. This is very handy having a dolly like this that I can move things around on. I know you can't really see this side too well. So I've come into my corner. I'm going to do this corner the same as the one I just did. Stretch and pull. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to just back out that staple because I've got a stretch here that I don't want because that stretch actually shows on the front edge and I don't really want that. So I'm going to back that out. I'm going to stretch this way and then I'm going to pull this way as well at the same time to stretch that leather away into the corner. See this here? I've got a build up there, so what I might do is put a staple here just to arrest the leather and stop it from coming on the front. Again, I'm stretching. Looks good. Cinch everything down. Next corner. And even if you've got these corners done, you know, you could actually take this off, but this works as an anchor. It's really working more as a vise than anything to help you with the pulls that you have to do to get the leather taut. And just put a temporary one there. Switch hands. Now, this aspect of the leather isn't pulling quite as much as I might have encountered on the other part, which is great. This is stiffer, much stiffer here. So pull up, get your sow's ear or your cow's ear. Pull in from this corner this way this time. Make sure this knife doesn't go under the corner of the seat. Be conscious of that the whole time. This is my front edge here, remember, so I'm very conscious of these tucks here. I want to bring this in. You see this here, just pull this in and get a couple of staples in to tighten this inside corner a little bit, stop any build-up on the outside edge. Now I think this is for me about as good as I can get it. It's exactly where I want it again. I've got nice, clean, crisp lines. There's no guarantees with leather for me. But this works just fine. Nice. Do I want that one? Yeah, go for it. Scoop this here. Sure, this helps to see it done a couple of times like this. Stretch and shoot. I've got to have this picture in my mind because I've got to visualize this. Really, this distance here needs to be the same on both sides if I can get it. So I shoot for that. I almost got it straight off the bat there. See, my mitre's working good. A little bit of extra pull here just to take out some of this stretch. Same on this side. That staple hit that one. Not what I wanted. That's better. Oh yeah, that's spot on. Can you see this corner here? It looks pretty nice. Get your staples in over here. Stretch. Not very good, these. These are the Stanley staples. Got to watch the staples. Don't do it towards your face. If you've got a jam, be very careful. Safety, safety, safety. I've got a jam. Don't press the handle. Just pull out the ones that are maybe jamming you. Make sure these do not stay on the tabletop. Try again. Love that corner. It's working fine. We're back along the back edge again. Get rid of Stanley. Stretch and pull, stretch and pull. Keep a visual on this edge here. Make sure that that is... This edge is more important. This, I've got a couple of ripples in there, but I'm not bothered about the ripples there because I can go in here with a second row and just isolate those ripples to make sure they don't telegraph back into my work. A mitre here on this corner. And we're on really the last home stretch here. I'm going to come along here to bring this leather towards the corner. Like this, right into the corner as tight as I can get. And then I start looking at my mitre, stretching here. And you know, you could practice on the vinyl if you wanted. It's not a lot different. If you wanted to do that, that would be great. Oh yeah, that's working fine. A little bit of an extra pull there. See here, can you see that there? Just a little bit of extra pull. A little bit awkward on your fingers. If that's the case, just use a pair of pliers. Pull up. Pop your staples in. Down the home stretch here. You can trim off these, not that they're going to hurt anything. That's about it. Watch what happens now. I'm just still using the anchor just while I trim off these bits here. Now we can take the pressure off the clamp. And see where we end up. Remember, staples, knives, scissors, anything like that, get them out of the way. This is coming off easily because, of course, it's taken the pressure into the main body. I have a couple of pieces here, this section here where I couldn't get in with my stapler. I just go in. Not sure whether I like this when it's so way off, so I'm just going to straighten this up. And the same down here. So before I take out any staples that are going a little bit awry, get the new staples in to replace them. Not sure if I needed that one really. And that's basically how I would upholster my seat, nice and neat. There's the top side. Got my corners in place. Watch what happens now. We drop this in here like this, press it down for a beautiful snug fit. Look inside this corner here. All the corners look nice, and this is so very comfortable. So now you can see how simple it is, I think, to upholster your own seat. This is my method. It's worked for a long time. I just think you should enjoy trying it yourself. Do it yourself. I've got one thing left to do, and that is to make sure it fits me. And guess what? It feels very comfortable. There's enough padding in there to where my bottom isn't touching the plywood. Feels very comfortable. I'm very at ease in this. If this was a dining chair at my dining table, I would feel very comfortable with it.